Have you been considering adding the Chanel 19 to your luxury handbag collection? Is this truly a classic Chanel bag worthy of an investment piece? Today, after having the bag for 6 months, I'm going to be weighing in on the pros, cons, carrying suggestions, what fits inside, and ultimately answering that burning question, is this bag truly worth it? Hey Luxe ladies, my name is Heather. Welcome back to my channel, where the focus is on when you style well, you live well, bringing you weekly insight and inspiration on investment pieces to help you elevate your style. Stick around, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment down below on the Chanel bag, or simply just say hello. This particular Chanel 19 here is in the lambskin leather. There are other variations in terms of fabrics. There's some beautiful tweeds that are out there, but in terms of the leather, it only comes in the lambskin leather, not the caviar, as in comparison to, say, the classic Chanel flap. This one is made up of mixed metal hardware. You do see only gold on the very top handle portion there. You're going to see that there's mixed metal. There's silver as well as gold. And each side of the strap is a little different. So you have gold on one side and then you have some silver at the top of the other. And it kind of varies as it goes down the strap as well. So kind of one is blending in with the other on each side of the strap. When it comes to the lock on the front, this is like a twist lock. It has the classic CC there, but it's just a very simple twist that opens up. And this is all in gold, but there is leather intertwined inside the metal that you see there on the CC. When it comes to the interior, this is a very classic Chanel red, but I will tell you it is more of a red color. When you are comparing it, especially if you might have a classic flap or you've looked at that before, maybe you've seen it, those tend to be more on the burgundy side. The interior of this is almost like a true red. Now, it's not quite as bright as this Zimone organizer, again, that I'll share in just a moment, talk more about that, but it is a pretty true red on the inside. You do have the classic Chanel bar right there on the inside, and then you do have one zippered interior pocket here that is fairly large. You could definitely put some keys in there, or you could stow away some cards, zip it up, and not have any problems with anything getting lost because it is quite nice and secure on the inside. This is also the little classic CC bar on the inside, which is what would also help to authenticate the bag as well. The bag exterior does have a pocket, and it is a fairly large size. It has a snap closure as well, and it is fairly deep, so you have plenty of room here if you wanted to put something like a cell phone, and then you have the security of the snap closure. Now let's get into the pros and the cons. There's so many pros when it comes to this bag, starting with the lambskin leather. I personally love it because it's very soft. It has that really beautiful sheen to it, and then when you pair that with the mixed gold metals of the top handle and the strap, I think it just makes her striking. She is absolutely gorgeous. Whether you are admiring her from afar or styling her up, she's gonna take your breath away, and you will definitely get compliments on this bag. She is super duper spacious. I think because of the overall design of the bag, it allows it to expand a little, and it really just gives you a ton of room on the inside. We'll get to more of that in just a moment in terms of what it holds. But the other pros in terms of this bag would be the back pocket that gives you an easy access to put your phone, taking it in and out. So care of ease there with your phone and not having to put it on the inside if you don't want to. This bag also, I believe, can elevate the most basic outfit. Case in point, this basic sweatshirt I have on today, pair it with the Chanel 19 and you've instantly elevated a look. Now, this bag definitely is more casual when you are comparing it to the Chanel classic flat bags, for sure, hands down. However, I believe you should carry this bag and it would work just well with absolutely anything you wanted to style it with. It doesn't matter whether you're going to Trader Joe's, Target, wherever you want to go, or an evening out, carry this bag. She's striking, she's gorgeous, she's stunning with these mixed metals, that buttery, beautiful leather. I just think she's absolutely gorgeous. That's just, to me, the biggest pros about this bag. But the other amazing pro about this bag is the resale value. Now, if you have been following me for a while, you will know that that's not my stance. I don't believe in just buying a bag to turn around and sell it. Now, you might fall out of love with it one day and you might decide it's just sitting around. And I do believe if it's sitting around, it does need to go. It's no longer being utilized. Make room for something else. But never buy a bag with the intent to resell it, because you never know what the market is going to do, because it could all change tomorrow. However, when it comes to Chanel bags, and specifically like Chanel 19 classic flaps, they continue to increase in price. And so when they increase in price on the retail side, they are going to increase on the resale side as well. Now again, this could all change by the time this video goes live, but right now, the resale value of a Chanel 19, if I had to turn around and sell my bag, I could certainly make money on this bag because it's already gone up in value from when I bought it last July. Now let's talk about the cons. There are a few, starting with the lambskin leather. Yes, I know I mentioned it as a pro, but it's also a con. It's like a catch-22. It's beautiful, but there are some downsides to it. The lambskin leather can scratch way more easily than, say, a tough caviar leather in the classic flap. It can also be more impressionable. So what I mean by that is, if you're not careful when you store this bag, when the chain sits on top of it, whether it's to the front or to the back side, over time, if it's just sitting and not getting utilized, it can start to make an impression on the leather. I've had this one again for about 6 months, and so far, so good. I don't have any impressions on that, but I know that that is something that can happen because my sales associate specifically told me that. You also want to keep in mind that this leather can scratch more easily. While I've not babied it, I've definitely been more cognizant of that, especially when carrying this in the mall, and I have carried it to the mall a couple of times. You just want to be careful that you're not brushing up against something like a wall or even like displays, because if you did, you could definitely easily scratch these corners because of how they kind of bump out. And like I said, I've had it for about 6 months. I've carried it a good handful of times, and so far, so good on the leather. I will say, I have not, and I would not recommend, don't sit this down because there are no feet, so that's a con as well. You don't want to sit that down in the bottom because that definitely would start to show wear and tear very quickly and very easily. Another con, and probably the one that is my biggest con, is actually the strap. Now, while again, that strap is also a plus because you can wear this on the crossbody or as a crossbody so easily, and it's actually comfortable. The con in terms of the strap is that it's not removable, and the fact that it's so long. Now, what do I mean by that? Because you want it longer when you're gonna wear it as a crossbody, absolutely. But because it's not removable and it can't double up, that's the other con. It can't double up like in comparison to the classic Chanel flaps. This, in my opinion, when you go to wear it on the shoulder, is just so long. Some people may not mind that. For me, I just think it looks awkward and it feels awkward. I would prefer, if I'm going to wear something on my shoulder, I would want it to be closer and up higher. Therefore, if it were doubled, I think it would be great. But being long like this and non-removable and can't double up, it just is weird on the shoulder to me. I just noticed this the other day and it really bugs me, but it just kind of is what it is, I suppose. When you look at the leather that is woven in between all of the metal there, you can see actually where the, I guess, ending and new beginnings are showing with the leather. It kind of pops out. Do you guys see that? And at first I thought that it was just in like one spot, but it is not. It is all throughout the bag, I guess, where they changed the leather over and where they were weaving it in and out of the bag. So I just don't like that. I think it looks rather tacky, and to be as expensive, there's another one, to be as expensive as this bag is, I'm like, Chanel, you should get it together with something like this. Other concern I have with that is over the course of time, if you're not careful, that could curl up, because I think about Think about my Gucci disco bag and I think about the tassels on the edge of that. Anytime leather is kind of loose and flapping around, over time, it starts to curl up. Now you can naturally flatten it down like on a tassel, that's pretty easy. But when it comes to these little pieces here, there's no way that you're gonna flatten that back out over time if that starts to curl up. So I don't know if you have a Chanel 19 or if you've heard of this, let me know if it's normal or if it's not. I've not run it by my sales associate yet because like I said, I truly just noticed this the other day. I carried this with me when I went shopping to the mall and I was like, okay, what is this right here? I have not noticed this before and it just seems, I don't know, rather odd to me. So that is definitely another con when it comes to the Chanel 19. One of the most important things when it comes to the Chanel 19, I believe, is keeping its shape. Because it is that soft, buttery lambskin leather, which is beautiful, it can have a tendency to kind of stretch out and lose its shape. So the way that you can avoid that is by adding what I believe are two different things on the inside. The first thing that I have added, I'm gonna show you guys, is down in the bottom of the bag, and that is a base shaper. It's not anything extravagant, but I did choose red to kind of coordinate with the interior of the bag, but it is basically almost like a piece of cardboard, if you will, but it's probably very sturdy, very thick cardboard, covered in like a faux leather, if you will, of some sort. A really nice material, seems like it's really well made, and it's not going to see any type of usage on top of it because on top of the base shaper, I layer in my Zimone organizer. I've used Zimone for several years. I've put the Zimone organizers in my toiletry cases before, and then when I did have my Neverfulls, I had Zimone organizers for those, as well as my, what was the really large? The on-the-go tote, I could not recall it. But when I had the on-the-go tote, I had a Zimone organizer for that as well. But this is the new one that's a little bit thinner, and I like that because then that way it doesn't take away from the space inside the bag. Those both, I believe, will help to protect the shape of the bag and then also protect the interior of the bag. These each were relatively inexpensive, and I just think for the cost of the bag, it's worth those extra little splurges to help keep its shape and keep it intact, especially when not in use. I feel like if it's sitting up on a shelf, that's definitely going to help it keep its structure. And then when you're putting a lot of things on the inside, this is going to allow it again to keep that form and structure and not have everything kind of pushing out or, you know, making impressions from the interior to the exterior of the bag. Another suggestion I would have is that if you get this new, do not throw away the piece of felt that comes with the bag. If you buy it on the pre-loved market, that's okay. You can buy a simple piece of felt like this, or I'm sure you can utilize something maybe in your closet or even some tissue paper. But the reason that I would suggest keeping this or adding something like this is to, when you're storing it, put something underneath this top handle here. That was actually a suggestion by my sales associate, and I've certainly taken her up on that because I just know that this can get weighty, it can get heavy, and I don't want to take a chance on this kind of weighing down and making some type of impression on the bag. You don't necessarily have to have something this large. It doesn't need to cover the entire bag. I don't think that that's necessary. Just something super little and super lightweight to go right under that handle there, just to keep the top looking in pristine condition. In terms of what the Chanel 19 will hold, I have filled this bag very full so that you could see the true capacity of it. However, this isn't something necessarily that I would recommend because this would, I think over time, put a lot of stress and strain on the bag, but I wanted to just share with you guys how much this truly would hold, and then I'll show you kind of what I truly would downsize it to in order to not put any stress and strain on the bag. But as you can see here, I've got my phone in the back side of the Zimone organizer. This is something honestly that I probably would put in this back pocket and not even worry about putting that on the inside. But removing the phone, you then can see a full-sized Louis Vuitton wallet, if you will. So you've certainly got room enough for something like that. I have my key pouch, which does have my key on the inside. an Old Faithful Toiletry 15 by Louis Vuitton, which does have some items on the inside, so that is definitely full as well. But this is something that could certainly be optional, which we'll talk about in just a moment. And then I've got space left inside the Zimone organizer there, so I do have one lip. This is a Bobbi Brown lip color here, if you will. This is one that's brand new, I've not even used, so I can't wait to utilize this. And then I have an Old Faithful, my Christian Dior lotion, because this almost fits in any handbag. And do you see how easily that slides right into that pocket inside the Zimone organizer? But that's everything that was inside the Chanel 19 there, with it being full to capacity. But let's talk about how we can change some things around. So let's say, for example, we want to remove the Toiletry 15. We easily could do that because of the fact that we do have these little pockets inside the Zimone organizer. We could put our lip gloss, lipstick, things of that nature. So let's put these items back in, and then we're going to leave the Toiletry 19 out. Then we can easily put back in our Louis Vuitton zippered wallet, and then our key pouch here, if we will. And then from there, we have room to put in some sunglasses. I have a tendency to utilize these old Ray-Ban cases, if you will, because they're more sleek and slender. So if you're using some aviators, these are really cool to slide in and out. You might even be able to find cases like that similar to these on Amazon. I'll look and see if there are, but if so, they work super well inside of bags. So if you did that, then that gives you the ability to put sunglasses in there. Phone can still be on the back side, and then she's not as stressed when you close her up. So there's not as much strain on the bag. You can still see there's a little bit of indentation on the top of the bag just from the form of what's going on the inside, but I don't think it's one that would harm it. It's just kind of dented in because there's not anything pushing up on the top side. But another variation that you could try is if you removed the large wallet. We could take this out of place. We could put our Toiletry 15 or small cosmetic bag back inside here. And then we're gonna load things a little bit differently. We're gonna put the Toiletry 15 in here, and then we're gonna add back our key pouch, if you will. We can put back in our sunglasses case so that we have those. And then for a wallet, just add a simple card case, because then if you add the simple card case, you have more room again on the inside, and you can still put your extra toiletries there in the front of the Zimone organizer, and then just close her up, and voila, again, all good to go, and not looking like she's getting any strain or stress. So overall, it's up to you how you want to utilize her, but again, she is very spacious. She is going to hold a great deal. I truly had my eye on the Chanel 19 from the moment she came out. I initially held back and was more reserved because of the strap for the reasons that I just mentioned earlier. However, after looking at her time and time again and trying her on, I realized that she would be perfect for my collection for the style. She's so stunning, she's a statement, and the crossbody strap is honestly a breeze. It's so comfortable and it's so easy to wear, and I do feel like it would make a statement piece in anyone's wardrobe, elevating any look so easily. And while I do not own a classic Chanel flap yet, I actually chose the Chanel 19 before a classic Chanel flap. Now, I've looked at those time and time again. If you would want a comparison video of those, I certainly can share quite a bit of information and my take on the two and tell you why I added this one first. But I do believe she is a classic. Chanel has deemed her a classic bag. She is not going anywhere. In fact, my prediction is that we will continue to see future variations in the lambskin leather colors, and then also in the tweed and other fabrics. I think the one that they had previously called Oreo is absolutely stunning, and I think that if I were to ever add a fabric bag, that could definitely be one that I would certainly add. And I probably would have to look for that one on the pre-loved market because I don't think that that one's current anymore, but we're going to continue to see those. So is she a classic? Yes. Should you consider her, or should you make the decision to add her if you've been on the fence? Yes. Now, if you're not a crossbody girl, I would say ultimately no. However, outside of that, I think she would be the perfect and most well-loved addition to your luxury handbag collection. Well, have a fabulous day, ladies, and until next time, live your luxe, and I'll see you in the next video.